you do this have to start, no matter what. I think there's only two ways to fail in this world, and that's either to not start or to quit too early.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to pivot, but there's a difference between quitting and pivoting. What's up, everyone? Nate Sarantino here, back with another episode of the Free Thinkers Emergence Podcast. And today with me, I have my good friend and ex-coworker at this point, Coty LeBlanc. Coty, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Nate. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Awesome to be here.
Yeah, dude. So last time I saw you, you were still at the dealership. I was still there. And this was at Totally BMW. You all know, if you've watched my podcast, I talk about my life and what's going on quite a bit to, why not? And so I met Coty there. He was one of the salesmen. Me and him hit it off pretty quickly. We just felt like we had a lot in common. You were really adamant about how good the podcast was going, and I would tell you how I've been doing it for a little bit now, and you kept telling me how the majority of people stop after like 2 or 3 episodes. And
yeah, that came from Alex Hormozy. He actually mentioned that in one of his podcasts, where he said that less than 1% of people make it past 10 episodes.
Really?
So you're already past, the net. You're in the 1%.
Really?
I mean, it's not less than 1. Excuse me. 99% of people, I just butchered that. 99% of people don't make it past 10 episodes. So you're already in the 1%. Because you have, over 200 at this point, I think I saw?
Nah, I think this is going to be 155.
Oh, 155. Okay, all right.
So
I'm just a forward thinker.
Yeah, no, but I will have, when I go, so I'm moving to LA in less than a week now. And I want to dive into the podcast so much more. I'm recording possibly 4 episodes this week, at least 3. I did one yesterday. I got you on today, and then I'm going to do one more on Friday.
That's awesome.
And I want to be doing 3 episodes, recording a week, so I can be posting 2 a week when I get to LA. And I want to build this podcast way more. I've been gaining subscribers on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, everything, like crazy, and all organic. I haven't paid for anything. And it's just like people are just following my content because I'm posting consistently. So I've realized that helps a lot. But getting back to the whole Tully thing, so we were talking.
Well, real quick, I just wanted to mention on that, consistency is key, right? And
yeah.
Getting on all those different platforms, it's not an easy thing, because you're out there hustling, you're on all these different platforms. The videos have to be edited in a proper way. You have to make shorts for YouTube and shorts for Instagram, and everything like that.
Yep.
And then advertise those, and there's pushing software that you can use and stuff like that. But are you doing a lot of the editing yourself?
I've done all the editing for the podcast lately myself.
Awesome. Okay.
I do have a editor that when the time is right, he will start working for me again. He helped me when I was first getting the podcast going with the microphones. Helped me. He showed me how to edit audio. And then I also learned from him how to do some of the video editing. And then I figured out more on my own just by doing it. It's just trial by fire at that point.
Yeah.
But the first few videos I uploaded that had video, like the first few podcasts as in, were pretty bad. Because first of all, my camera couldn't record past the half hour because of some software. So I had to download this software from the internet to make it so it would record for unlimited time.
Oh, okay.
Had to get it to stop overheating. These different.
Go through all these different, troubles,
Yep.
and ups and downs and battles. And,
yeah.
But eventually, here we are today.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And I'm really glad that I've gotten all these little things, just like whatever, speed bumps out of the way. Yep. So now I have these guests on and I can actually focus on the conversation and not, oh, are my lights going to turn off again?
Right.
It's
Am I going to hear the sound quality? These mics are awesome. Headphones are awesome. So
yeah,
kudos to you for the continued growth and, as you said, consistency.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So things have been going really well for you. You were at the dealership, you were selling cars, and then you made a really big move. Want to explain to my audience what your move was?
Yeah, so I've been in sales for going on 13 years, let's say, because I actually, throughout high school, I started flipping cars off Craigslist.
Genius.
And then I got into sales immediately after high school. So I was selling cars on the sales floor when I was 19 years old. So that was in like 2011, 2012 time, something like that. So it's been about 12 years. So I eventually, made my way over to Tully. I love everybody over at Tully BMW. I really have nothing bad to say about those guys. I have what I like to call business ADHD, so I, instead of like the shiny object syndrome that happens with businesses and passive income for me. And so a lot of times I'll actually kind of like dive into more things than I should all at once, so I went over to work at Tully. It was a great experience, great opportunity. I just had a better opportunity at my current business that I wasn't quite seeing clearly. And I just started looking at my time, so time is super important, right?
Yeah.
You can't buy back your time.
No.
And I'm in control of my time completely when I work for myself, and I can do what I need to do to succeed. And when you're on the sales floor, which I didn't recall as much because it had been 2-3 years since I had or probably 6 years, since I'd been on the sales floor working for somebody else.
Yep.
That you spend a lot of time there, and it's just either waiting for clients or you have to cold call, which I have to do in my current business. But it's hard to get a percentage of, right?
Yeah.
Instead of knowing that you're investing it into something, that you're getting back. So I figured as much like the time that I'm spending at Tully, if I spent that amount of time and invested that much effort into my own company,
yep,
what would it do?
Oh, exponential growth.
Exactly,
and that's what you're seeing.
And exactly, yeah. So we're starting to, get the hockey stick growth, if you will,
Yeah.
I'm building the fat bottom is basically what's coming up,
Yeah, I'm very happy to hear that, and that's awesome. I live by the saying: you either you either take the chance or you work for someone who did, and then on top of that is if you're not working for your dreams, you're working for someone else's.
Yeah.
So your decisions, I go by a philosophy of you have this beautiful thing called life. Now you can make out of it whatever you want. You can make nothing and just make someone else's life. Like
we
you
all
can
have the same 24 hours.
Yeah, literally. So what are you gonna build? I've been building a brand called Save Your Services, building this podcast and building my network. You've been building this awesome company you have called Open Door Housing.
Yep. And
also, I love your hat. I meant to mention that before we started, but it's perfect. It says "See you at the top."
Yep.
What company is that from?
Melon. So the brand is Melon. And they actually partnered up. God, I'm trying to blank right now.
That's all good.
UFC fighter Michael Cameron.
Michael Cameron.
His motto is "See you at the top."
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I get asked about it a lot of times, like, "Oh, are you a hiker?" A lot of people think like I'm a hiker because I mean like see you at the top of the mountain, kind of thing. It's like no, it just means like I'll see you at the top. Like whatever you're reaching for, like keep reaching for it, and I'm gonna keep reaching for whatever I'm reaching for, and I'll see you at the top.
Literally.
And that's what it's about. And that's
I love that.
He's fighting for the top of the championship. Fighting in his class.
Yeah.
Obviously, he wants that belt.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's what he means by "see you at the top."
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Michael Chandler, you need to fight Conor McGregor. I know it's been talked about on a lot of podcasts and like a bunch of stuff everywhere.
Really?
But yeah, he needs to fight Michael or Conor McGregor.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
awesome. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yo, oh my gosh, that's so fire. What so are you the only owner of Open Door, or do you have any partners?
I am the only owner.
Awesome. What made you pick the name Open Door?
Uh,
Open Door Housing.
it's just I didn't want to do, New England rentals, or I didn't want it to be something that was like commercial,
Yep.
if you will. I wanted it to be personal, because that's who we are.
I agree.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I want it to be personal, and so just like Open Door. Hey, we're an open door, right? Like,
Yeah.
ask us any questions. We'll try and do as much as we can to open our door to you.
100%. You hear that little buzz?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what that is. Bear with me 1 second. Want to see if this if your cord just plugged in all the way?
Yeah,
I'll do that for now. I think that made it better, right?
yeah.
Awesome.
Clear.
All right. Cool. Yeah, we should be good. All right. Yeah, that's so awesome. I am a really big proponent of people being authentic and expressing themselves, whether that be personally or with their brand or company, because I'm a believer of God. I don't know about yourself, but beyond that point, I believe just as man is made in the image of God, every company is made in the image of its creator, meaning your company is a living reflection of who you are, the values you have at the highest level. Because at the highest level, where you would be in like a state of like heaven, like the heaven on earth, you've created this to help other people in some way or another. And that's like, I just think it has to be personal at that point. It is a personal thing.
It is. And I'm glad you said the term helping other people. That's where I've shifted kind of like my vision towards helping other people and stop like chasing the money. Throughout my 20s, because I'm 32 now, throughout my 20s, I was just chasing the money, the entire time. And, I was a sales manager for a dealership. I left and started my own used car dealership. So I was just like always trying to go. And now that I've finally landed where I wanted to be, which is in real estate, and I have the ability, like selling cars, you have the ability to help people out, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of the times, like you're like looked at bad. Car salesmen don't have a good name, right?
True.
So when someone calls me and they're like, hey, I'm not from the area, but I'm going to be working at this place, down the road from your rental. What's the area like?
Yeah.
I'm going to spend a half hour, 45 minutes on the conversation or on the phone with that person, or like FaceTime them, or whatever it takes to make sure that they're comfortable.
Yeah.
Before they're coming to the area.
100%.
I'm not looking at them as a credit card. They're a person and they want to be comfortable. And like all the places that we have, I would have my mother stay there. Like
that's how it should be.
Yeah.
I think you're literally hitting the head of the nail. Like.
Yeah. So we're not landlords, right?
Yep.
Like I'm not I mean, like I am technically a landlord, if you will, but I don't. I'm not just turning through people and not doing anything, not painting, not fixing things, not whatever, and just saying, here, you get what you get.
Yep.
It's the hospitality for us. So
100%.
It's like you're going on a first date.
Yeah.
We have to act like we're going on a first date every new guest that shows up.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's noble. If you want greatness out of your life, you need to put out greatness in everything. So the level that you're putting out into society, like how like tight and everything's put where it belongs, how up to date with the furnishings, the appliances, whatever it might be in these houses, or anything that you're doing is going to be the reflection of what you get back out of that. whether you get the clients that are gonna continue to give you like money, or they're gonna like take advantage of you, because you can get there's people who are good and people who are bad, like leasers, whether that be owners or people who, there's just so many different ways, and I'm a big believer of what you put out is what you get back.
Yep.
And you have control to a certain extent. It's one of those things where I think by you paying attention to all these details, being diligent, you're getting a better return for your time and your energy. Yeah. And those are the two things that are the most precious to everyone.
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree. And that's the thing, right? Like, I didn't make the most money at Tully because I wasn't working like crazy, like everybody else was, you know, because it wasn't my only income, and I didn't want to work that much because I would be really sacrificing away from what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know, and I know that, you know, deep down is that I didn't put in 110% effort. Did I give the clients, everyone that I sat with, 110% effort? 1,000%, you know, not without a doubt.
Yeah.
But coming in on my days off, you know, I did cold call a lot of people and, like, you know, cold email a lot of people, but the coming in on my days off kind of thing is really just like kind of like what set me back. Because if you look at it, there's probably like 6 of those days off, and you could probably sell 2 cars on each one of those days. That's 12 cars a month.
Yep.
You know, and I was a 20 car a month guy. So I would have been a 30 car a month guy if I would have went on my days off, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so.
For real. And I honestly feel the same way about that job, and I didn't even get the sales.
But that's just like not even your job, you know. It is your life. It is everything. You get what you put in. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
yeah, I agree.
You know, but it's always like, you know, someone had said this, but they're like, oh, you know, if you went around and you said to an audience, like, who wants to have a 6-pack? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, you know, who wants to drive a Ferrari? And they're like, yeah. You know, or like, who wants to have a nice house and be able to afford all their bills? You know, everybody's like, yeah. You know, and then everybody's like, who wants to wake up before 7 a.m. every day? And they're all like, even on the weekends. And they're like, you know, nobody really wants to raise their hand, you know, or they're like, you know, the sacrifices that you have to make to get what you want to have, a lot of people aren't willing to do.
Yeah.
And that is the sole reason as to what it is. And if you can believe that it is possible and just go forth as if it's happening, you know, that it's going to happen.
100%. I agree.
But I heard recently on a Andy Vasilla podcast that he actually set this clear for me. He said, and I think you'll really like this as well too, he goes, you have to do the work to become the boss before you get the boss title, you know, and that's a concept that sometimes I forget, right?
Yeah.
You know, and because when you're like, oh, I know I'm really good at this position, and I know I deserve it, and you feel really good about yourself, and all you're thinking about is yourself, right? Well, what does a boss do? A boss is in control of everybody else, and they have to think of everybody else. So if you get everybody else on board and you start being a leader in the community or in your space or, you know, in your teachings or in your ways of helping people.
True.
Then you're the boss.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just walk up and somebody goes, oh, yep, here you go, your business card now says boss. You know, it's not, you have to do the boss things. You have to raise the standards.
Yeah.
You have to show, you know, that you're a team leader, that you're committed, you know, that you have what it takes to succeed.
All excellent points.
Yeah.
I love what you have to say on that.
So it's important just to remember that, because you'll get caught up, especially if you're in a group of people where you're a level above them, and you think that you're, you know, not better than, I don't want to use the term better than everybody, but you know what I'm trying to reference when I say that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And I really do, because what you just said reflects on how I felt about the group of people I went to high school with and why I stopped hanging out with them. Because I felt like I was doing really good, Meanwhile, eventually God humbled my ass. But regardless of that point, I eventually stopped hanging out with these people because I realized, like, I hang around with them. They talk about sports, drugs, alcohol, and maybe a little bit of their jobs, but it's not geared towards career, more as in, like, oh, I don't really know what to do. I'm going to go work here. And I'm very driven by passion. I have my mindset on make money with my passion, invest all that money, to passive income streams. But I'd rather this be working, doing what I love, and then do the passive income, so I can not spend all this time doing a job I hate, and I'll be building my skill at the same time. That's why I started my company when I was 19, or I was 20. Yeah, when I was 20, I started the fitness coaching, and it was because of that, wanting to start now so I'll gain the experience that other people won't gain because they're starting later. Like, I mean, they'll gain it, and maybe they'll do it faster, maybe they'll do it slower, but at some point, I think that hardest part is starting, whether it be with a podcast or with your real estate company. A lot of times, leaving something can be the hardest part. It was really hard for me to leave Tully because I left there to work on this company, and I ended up doing flooring too. I'm really glad because Tully was too boring for me. It's not enough going on. Like, I need to be moving and talking to people all day. That the genius position wasn't it. I think I would have done better in sales, but they didn't want me to go to sales because I didn't have enough product knowledge. So, but
that's the thing, is like,
it all happens for a reason.
Everything comes down to experience.
True.
And like what you said, what you have to go through, starting the company and then like growing and developing those skills, right?
Yep.
That takes time, you know?
Yeah.
You can't, and like you said, somebody might come in and do it faster, but it's unlikely, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be exponentially faster.
No.
But it's the fact that you only see so many customers per day.
Yeah.
Right? No matter what business that it is. And if someone has experience of seeing 100 customers and someone else has experience of seeing 10 customers, the person that spent, that time, they're going to have that experience. And experience is, what teaches you everything. Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and you're going off that thing you said, whether it's 10 or 100, the thing that matters most to me is the impact you made on that person. Yeah. There was people at the dealership who would have rather given me their money than the salesman, as for like the commission. Like, there multiple people literally said to me, like, you're the reason I'm getting this car. And it's just because, like, I just talked to them. And then I couldn't help them, so I had to bring them to a client advisor, and I'm like, whatever, like, there goes the money I could have gotten.
True.
And it is what it is. I really do believe that when you put your all into someone, no matter what, good things will happen out of that. It's just how it will go. If you really do pour into people, as long as you take time to recover and help yourself, like, you need a balance between pouring into other people and pouring back into your own bucket.
Yep.
But that's, for me, that pouring into other people is the thing that always brings me back to earth.
And I know, like, so to reference back to, like, the 10 or the 100 thing, and I think this is kind of like, goes towards what you were trying, what you're saying is, you're right. If you could have a conversation with 100 people, but if it's a 5-minute conversation
Mm-hmm.
and you didn't learn anything, and all they said was, "Is this still available?" or "How much are you willing to negotiate?"
Mm-hmm.
Then you didn't learn anything.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a conversation with 10 people, it's an hour long, and they can ask all kinds of questions. You can learn all sorts of things. So, like, that that totally makes sense. And have you heard of Eric Thomas before? Dr. Eric Thomas, E.T.
No.
Motivational speaker, and he's got the phrase of there's a sniper.
Yep.
And then there's like the guys in the movies that come in with the Uzis and the machine guns, right?
Yep.
Like they'll unload 100 rounds.
Yep.
They'll kill like 3 people.
Yeah.
And the sniper takes 1 shot, and he makes the mark. And it's better to be a sniper, than it is just come in and unload 100. That's the 100 people for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Really.
And the sniper is the 10 people for an hour. And he's just getting it done, So, and that's what, it's hard to not want instant gratification.
Real. Damn. Yeah, that's the...
It's hard to not want instant gratification. I think everybody in business feels that way.
100%.
If you're trying to grow towards something. Well, because it's like, you can't go to the gym once and then just be like, do I have a 6-pack yet? Like, it takes forever.
For real. And
that's what teaches you. It's time, consistency.
Yeah, and I've now really come to believe that anything that's truly worth building is going to take, and I mean like the things that are going to last for years on end is going to take like 3 years plus. I go for 3 weeks, 3 months, and then 3 years. 3 months figures out if something feels right. 3 years, figure out, okay, is this actually going to work? After 3 years, you've put in enough reps to hopefully get an idea if something is going to work out or not. I mean, you look at Andy Frisella, he says he didn't make, what was it, like the first 10 years of his business, he was making like 400, 600 something a month. And
he
then
worked in store.
Yeah.
He was working retail.
That's wild. Like, think about that. Like 10 years that you're pouring your heart into whatever it is that you're doing, and you're seeing almost no returns, and then after that final year, boom, it's that hockey stick growth that we were talking about earlier. And whether it's you and your real estate, me, public speaking, coaching, whatever it might be. I mean, I eventually want to open up a company for psychedelic-assisted therapies, specifically with psilocybin. It's what I was at UVM studying neuroscience for, and I've realized I can help people and build money doing other stuff, and I can always go back to school. I can always get an honorary doctorate by this showing them the knowledge I have once I have the money. It's basically how people do that stuff. Yep. So, like, once you have success, you don't need the college degree anymore, because the college degree will just come to you. And it was really hard for me to conceptualize that even 6 months ago. And I've had to, 1, not listen to everyone around me, 2, swallow my own pride and realize that it's not a lack of awareness of the societal norms to show that you know what you're talking about, but more of I believe social proof is at the highest, where when you know what you're doing or you know what you're talking about, it's undeniable. And I heard Andy say that the other day. I think he posted it on his Instagram, actually. This was Andy Frisella. He said, be undeniable. And my friend who I'm going to LA with, we're driving out there together. He's a stylist. He said that to me like a week before that. He said, Nate, you just got to be undeniable at what you're doing. I've been in fashion for about 15 years now, and I'm so good that people recognize my, like, what the people I've, like, styled. And the clothes that I'm making, the quality, it's undeniable, everything. And once you get to that undeniable stage, no matter what you have saying that you're good, everyone who looks at you is like, okay, this person knows what they're talking about. This person obviously did the time and got the experience, that 10,000 hours for mastery or 10 years, whatever it is, you gotta put in the time and the energy, because once you have it, once you have that experience and you're undeniable at whatever it is that's your craft, you basically become one of the highest paid people possible. You need to be an expert in your field, whatever that is. That's it. I really do believe that's how people succeed personally in every field, in everything they do. Just become undeniable at everything. Being in the gym, your mindsets, your spiritual health, all of that stuff. Whatever your business is, it always comes down to that excellence. So
it is, yeah, and all of those points you have to be there and present and just keep driving forward, you know, and when you get up in the morning, just know that you have the opportunity ahead of you, and just keep foreseeing in the future. You know, when they say the term act as if, you know, like act as if you're the boss, you know, before you are the boss kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's a little bit like what I was saying earlier, you know, but just, you have to do the things that people that are successful are doing if you want to be successful.
True.
You have to put in the time. You have to put in the work. There's no half-ass in it, you know?
Yeah.
And another thing, don't get stuck on making your business card or what your logo is going to be. You know, like you said earlier, start.
Yeah.
Just start.
Oh.
You know?
Yeah.
You don't need this. You know what I mean? Like, you'll grow to it, right? You've been doing this for a while. You've grown to it. But, like, record yourself on, you know, you've seen how many YouTubers that now have somebody follow them around started like this.
Yeah, for real.
You know?
Dude, I started a podcast on an iPhone.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And that's it. Like, this, just start. And, dude, I spent, like, 6 months trying to build my website. Granted, I thought it was very important so people could look into more of my stuff, and me not having anything to truly show, like, why I know this stuff. I just had to put out the knowledge in a organized format and show some of the things that I'm talking about.
And it's going to continue being edited.
Of course, but it's one of those things where you do this have to start, no matter what. I think there's only 2 ways to fail in this world, and that's either to not start or to quit too early.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to pivot, but there's a difference between quitting and pivoting. That's for sure.
That's hard. You know, it's hard to make that decision or even figure that out.
It is.
You know, with all sorts of things. So,
well, yeah.
LA?
Yeah. Dude, I feel I've been so stagnant.
Sorry to just go completely off topic, but I'm just floored that you're like LA. I'm not floored. I'm actually really excited for you because I know it's an area of growth, and I, you know, could only assume that that's what you're going there for.
Yeah, literally.
And I wish you all the best. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So let me explain. I have pretty deep roots here, where any person I go up to, I can talk to about, like, the topics of my course, like the Hermetic Principles, universal law kind of stuff, like how it all works, whether it's the big scale or the small scale, the macro or the micro. Then I can talk about these mindsets that work and how you can actually adopt these things to basically this become fearless, limitless, and unstoppable.
Love it.
That's what I sum it up as. And then lastly, it's why do you do the things you do? And more importantly, well, what are you doing and why are you doing it? And once you can answer that question in every piece of your life, you basically excel. And it's impossible not to. And I can explain these concepts to anyone now and use these laws of the universe to show them, okay, with all the things you just showed me, I'm going to show you your end point. And you're going to tell me whether you want to be there or not. And if you say no, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to show you how pattern recognition works to predict the future. And once you get good enough at pattern recognition and you start really using your subconscious mind, you basically just see every pathway that's possible. And now you just pick the opportunities you want and you just go down the route. It's like, I looked at the difference between me staying here and me going to LA, and me staying here ends with me basically struggling to get this company going. I can keep posting online. It's just going to take way longer versus me going out there getting... I'm not even going to get a part-time job. I have a plan to make money, and then for the podcasting, building my name, and then getting on stage, public speaking, that kind of stuff. I really do feel the difference is here, I basically stay the same. There, at least if it doesn't work, I can come back here and then make another plan to do something else. Because the guy I'm flooring for, I know he'll take me back. So, and then there's also an infinite amount of other jobs I could get. Like, I hate people when they say, I can't get a job. Like, just walk up somewhere, tell them you'll work for free for a week as a trial period, and just prove yourself. And that's literally it.
Yeah.
Like, say 3 months. And if you really want that job. And it's just, people don't understand what it means to actually want something. And I always go back to how bad do you want to breathe after 30 seconds? And that's how bad you need to want it.
The guru speech.
Literally. And I literally, while I was at UVM, I did that to myself about my psychedelic-assisted therapy company. Yep. And just all around, I just want to create a company that's based on mushrooms. I just think mushrooms are superfoods, whether they're psychedelic or not.
I personally think that they are going to be the next THC boom, if you will. The next boom in medicinal and recreational, wave of
100%.
Of edibles especially.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm talking to a lot of people, and they're all thinking the same thing. Yeah. And
there's a lot of people that microdose as it is already.
I'm one of them. I'm a big proponent of microdosing. If it wasn't for microdosing, I feel my sharpness, my memory, and my ability to this perform mentally would be so hindered. Yeah. I haven't done it for the last couple of days. I'm taking it's like a tolerance break, but not really. I've been really busy, and at the same time, it is good to take time on. I did 2 or 3 weeks on, and now I've taken a few days off, and then I'll go back on. And all it takes is not even a quarter of a gram, like a tenth of a gram, and I think that's a decent microdose. And now you don't really get any psychoactive effects, but you get that after a week of it. You really do get the mental clarity, the sharpness, the memory boost, the ability to feel good in your own skin. Yeah, I think it's all things that are really important.
Yeah, the clarity.
Yeah,
clarity is important.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people that are running around, just going 100 miles an hour everywhere, and I'm one of them.
Me too.
But I used to be way worse than I was. I didn't, have it under control, and I had a lot of anxiety. Mm-hmm. And I didn't relax as much, But music helps with that. I like music a lot. And,
me too.
Sometimes I'll even just listen to sounds.
I do that all the time. I drove an hour home with only sounds. Yeah. I just put on a solfeggio frequency and tune in. Yeah. Tune out of the world and just go into my own head and just be, okay, how are we doing? Yeah.
I went for a ride with a friend the other day who I hadn't seen in a while, and we're driving down the road, and I'm like, what are you playing on your music? And he was playing symphony music.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Not heavy, but it was just nice and calm. And we listened to that for the whole car ride. It was a half hour one way, half hour back back, and it was great. I wasn't bothered by it whatsoever. And it's nice to know that somebody else that I know, that's a friend of mine, is also on that same level, and isn't just I listen to rock and or I listen to hip hop only, or listen to country only.
Yeah, 100%.
They're able to go out and diversify in their music world. So
Yeah, I think that's really important.
But that speaks as a person, you know, diversifying, you know, the music world, diversifying, opening your mind, you know, basically is it, you know, yeah.
I think we need to touch on this open mind, this topic. I think that was a perfect transition into it because open-mindedness is so critical in not only like business life as a whole, whatever you're going into. When someone presents a new idea to you, if you're not open-minded in entering this situation with a clean slate, I'm granted, if you have previous experience with something, you shouldn't just bury that just to try something again. You should use the patterns that I talked about earlier to predict the future. Now, when someone brings you something new and you are unsure about it, play it out in your head. Like, what would happen if I went down this route? And then if someone says that you might be wrong, like, see what their experience is. Be open-minded. Just understand that you don't have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. No one has them all. And that's why we have to work together as a society. Nothing great, and I mean great, has ever been built by one person alone. It always takes a team. And that the team you work with, everyone needs to be open-minded to one another, and you need to be able to sharpen each other and really build something great. It requires that open-mindedness.
Yeah. It does. It's you know, and like you said, like team building and being open-minded to other people's opinions, that's super important, right? Like, It's easy to hear somebody say something and have it not be what you're used to hearing.
True.
Or what you think, and then think that you guys are on like complete opposite sides, right?
Yeah.
And you almost get defensive, right? Immediately, like, or at least I used to. And
yeah.
That's where I meant, like, where I've kind of grown in that ability to become less defensive, have lower anxiety, and be more open-minded, and kind of give somebody else a chance, right? Like,
100%.
You know, you never know what somebody's going through.
Yeah.
Or like where they're at.
Yep.
You know, it doesn't mean you have to say yes to everything.
True.
Absolutely not.
Very true.
But it's just hear it out and actually hear it out. You know, and make a decision, you know.
Yeah, it's the difference between this is number one thing in sales is listening to understand and not listening to respond. So when you're being that open-minded person, you're not just trying to get your words out of your mouth. You're like, okay, open ears. What does that even mean?
Say that again, actually, because that is like exactly it. That's yeah.
When you're not just listening to get your words out of your mouth, but you're listening to understand, and you are open ears, and you're trying to hear and put yourself in the perspective of the other person, so you're actually getting what they're saying and not just pretending you see their perspective to get your point out.
Yep.
And I'm an offender of this. I'm sure you are, and everyone else we know is.
It's hard.
It is hard.
It is, because you're like, oh, I know what I'm going to say.
Yep.
And as you're thinking of that in your head, they're telling you something important, and you're not even listening, you know, because your mind's just focused on what you're going to say next.
Yep.
And it's hard. And when you actually, like, think about it, and you listen to what somebody has to say, and then you ask them a question about what they just said, most people are taken back by it, you know, because they're not used to it.
Yeah, 100%.
Everybody's just like spewing off at the mouth, you know, whatever they feel like they need to say.
Yeah.
And not listening to everybody else. So.
Well, they're not. First of all, they're probably not even thinking about what they're gonna say.
Right, yeah,
like they're this like stream of consciousness, yet it's very shallow. It's I'm really like into vibration energy. Like it's low vibration, just random chaos going on in their head, and somehow once in a while you get a few words out and they're like food, sex, or some drink maybe. Like the people, they basically are thinking about like these physical things all the time, and that's why the people who we can talk about like real shit like business and money and how to actually build the life and career that we want and not just be a slave to society. That's where like the open-mindedness to new ideas and how to actually get yourself out of this matrix or whatever we're in.
Yep.
There's levels to it yet.
Freedom and the American dream.
Yeah. Really?
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's there is levels to it, you know?
There are.
There's definitely levels to it. It's so yeah, LA. Let's get back to LA. I want to know. So you're going out to LA.
Yep.
You're just going gun ho for it. So, but you said like you have a backup plan, you know, a little bit like.
I mean, my backup plan. If I do have, I really can't imagine coming back here.
I don't think you need a backup plan.
I don't really
have to say that I think that you probably can do what you need to do here, and not in LA. But LA you'd be surrounded by the growth, you know?
See, the issue with being here, and this is the realest way I can put it, I'm surrounded by people who want me to succeed, but they don't know how to actually help me succeed, so they're basically useless. Like, they don't have the true support that I need in ways where they can actually help lift me up. Imagine it like this can right here. This is rock bottom. This is the highest you can go. They're here, and they've helped me get up here, and they want to see me get up here, but they don't even know how to get up there. So how are they going to help me if they don't even know what to do?
And that's the hard part of when you're in growth, is because, you know, you get to that certain point and you're like, you have to surround yourself with people that are doing better than you.
True.
You know, or at least have the things that you want. And that's what I mean by better than you.
Yep.
Better than you or financial freedom doesn't have a number on it.
Yeah.
So it's whatever anybody wants, right?
Exactly.
You know, and what makes you comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, so I want a good family. I want health. I want wellness, fitness. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to enjoy as much time as I can with my friends and my family. You know, and to do that, I need to have passive income.
True.
You know, but, you know, so I want to be surrounded by people that have the ability to, or that have the healthy family, right?
Yeah.
That I want. Like, I don't want to, you know, go on dates with people that are in bad relationships.
100%.
Or that, you know, that's what I'm saying. They're confused about where they're going in life. You know, I want to have good conversations. I want to, you know, deal with growth, you know, is what it is, you know. Someone that's in the same direction.
Yeah.
You know?
No, another thing I feel about here, where we talk about growth, I feel glass ceiling above me here, as well as I feel like I can't get my roots deeper here. I feel I have a decent amount of traction here, yet I think I'm going to be able to grow how I was growing when I was at UVM. In one semester, I learned more about myself and the things I care about, who I am when no one's around me, when it's just me living on my own, than anything. And it showed me who I was. And once you manage to live on your own for a little bit, you get a grasp of, okay, this is actually how I handle life. Because once you're back in the presence of other people, you're living with other people, those people rub off on you to a certain extent that you can't perform how you are when you're alone. And that's the thing we were just talking about, who you surround yourself with and I love my parents to death, yet they're very disordered, and it's sometimes hard to deal with it. They've gotten better, especially since my sister moved out a couple weeks ago. Her and her boyfriend were living here too, so there was 5 of us here, and it was it's just like too much mess, and now everything's neat and organized again. I'm like, all right, cool. I know there's a lot going on in here, but I'm about to pack all this stuff up and leave. I'm driving to LA on Monday, so it's gonna be basically that corner is all the stuff I'm bringing so far. But I'm whatever I can fit in the fit.
Yeah.
Literally, it's like trying to sell this PC. It's worth like $2,000, and I want to get a MacBook so I can have it on the go. And I'll get a folding table, and I'll just set up 2 folding chairs. I have a tablecloth with my brand on it, and I'll do it that way. Do the boomsticks and
nice.
Traveling podcast, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm gonna record yet. That's why I'm trying to get a bunch of episodes queued up for the next few weeks. Should be queued out for almost all of October all of November after this week. So, but
we're at the end of October here.
Yeah, it's wild, dude. October flew by. I got busy. I put in as many hours as I could flooring, and then I got really into the podcast. Me and my homie, who I'm moving to LA with, have been hanging around a lot. I've been seeing as many people as I can, and this weekend we're going.
I wanted to reach out.
Dude, I'm so glad you did. When I had thought about reaching out to you just like a few days before, and then when I was like about to, you did. And it was one of those things where when you're thinking about someone, sometimes they're also thinking about you, and you texted me that same day, and I was like, oh, awesome.
Yeah.
And I think there wasn't a better way to do it than record a podcast together, especially with all the great things you had to say.
I had paid attention to, who you were, as I do kind of everybody, and I figure out, who I would actually is worth having a conversation with,
True.
That is involved more than just answering a question.
Yeah.
So, and I, that would be, yourself, because when I
Thank
first
you.
met you, I kind of figured out what your mindset, or I liked your mindset, I guess is what it was. And it was unique, and it stood out. And the word that you used earlier, undeniable, so.
That's what I've been focused on lately. I really appreciate that you say that. Cause
continue going. But
thank you.
It's already undeniable.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to, that saying, like, when things start getting good, like, I've had my gas full for a hot minute now. But when things get, like, I've been, like, pedal to the metal all October, and I need to put that thing through the floor when I get to LA. Like, I need to go so much harder than I already am. And I have a feeling how sometimes things can be worse than you can imagine. I feel like LA's better than I can imagine. I think I have opportunities for me there that I couldn't even dream of. Where I've already, last, when was this? Last Thursday. Or maybe it was Friday. I forget. It doesn't matter that much. I went to a concert for my homie Breno. His brand's Unitary. I'm moving to LA with him. He's a stylist. His friend, he has a bunch of connections in the music industry. He's a stylist for a lot of different artists and whatnot. And we went to this concert for this guy, Chris Webby, at the Jewel in Manchester. There was only like about 300 people there.
I saw Webby at Hampton Beach last year.
Nice. So, anyways, he's like, yo, bro, like, come to this concert with me. It's me, him, and Rowan, and then a bunch of people met us there. And I'm chilling out in the green room because, I'm homies with all the people who are homies with them. And we're just, like, vibing. And I'm thinking to myself, this is the 3rd concert I've ever been to. And I just found myself in the green room like, I met Chris Webby and like we were talking and I didn't even know who he was until after, and I was like, oh, yo, he's super cool.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yo, like, this is actually how it goes. And it's given me the perspective of you never know who you're gonna meet, and you also don't know who people are until you meet them. Where you can look at someone online and judge them all you want, but until you meet someone in person and you get to have a conversation with them and you're like, oh, this dude's cool, or nah, this guy's a fucking asshole. Like, well, I don't want to be around him anymore. It's like we all meet people on every side of the spectrum, and you just try to find your flock, and then you fly.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I felt with these people I'm around, and that's why me and Breno decided to make the move, because we have he has another friend, Knox, who is a producer. He's done a couple of records with Joyner Lucas and Jelly Roll, and
Cool.
so he's gonna be going out to LA about mid-month, and we have
good guys with the same, you got some people going with you with the same mindset.
Yeah, 100%, and that's the. I built the team while I was here, or I didn't really build it. Breno more built it, and I got on the team, and now I'm a part of it. And we're all doing our thing. And basically every single one of these people are older than me. They're all like probably around your age, like between 30 and 40. That varies. And they're all this doing so well, and I'm so grateful to be able to be around these people and provide value to them.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Not only they like me because I'm myself, which is the most important part, but I also am not just like some random dude who's being himself. I present value.
Yeah, and stepping out and being able to like kind of dive deeper than what most people are willing to talk about.
Yeah,
is important because it doesn't actually happen that much.
True.
And, so I think you'll definitely bring that out in a lot of people, which actually helps you kind of push forward. It's like a mini vacation, like when you work a lot and then you're like, oh, I gotta go on a vacation.
Yeah.
And you reset. A deep conversation will almost help you reset.
100%, yo, and that. I think I'm going to end it with this, but the thing about deep conversations, and this is the number one thing when you lose people, like whether it's like a parent, best friend, whatever it might be, when people die, the number one thing you miss is less the person, but the conversations that you had with that person. Because those conversations cannot be replaced. Like, I have some friends who I haven't seen in a minute, and I know every time we pick back up, it's this same level of conversation, no matter how much time has been apart between us. It's just like all of a sudden we're in, no worries, and we're having a great conversation. Like, once you dive in, it's just the world is your oyster, whatever you can make out of it. So, dude, thank you for coming by.
Absolutely.
Where can people find you and check out your stuff? How can they support you? What's going on?
So we are on YouTube at Travel Housing. So at Travel Housing on YouTube. We're going to be posting a lot of videos on there. And then you can also find us on Facebook at Open Door Housing. And then our website is opendoorhousing.com.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
And, hey, I wish you the absolute best.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
And I'm super excited for your growth and continue being undeniable.
Thank you, bro. You too. Dude, you're definitely killing it.
Thank
all right, everyone. Thank you all for listening. My name is Nate Sarantino. This was Coty LeBlanc. And sorry about that.
Sorry, man.
And this was the Free Thinkers Emergence podcast. Peace, guys.